Wait, Guy? Wait. You're not.
No. No, I'm not. Where is she?
Oh, we're here to see Uncle Cleric Knoll. Is he in yet? Have we tried the door? You should try the door.
I would like to pick Phil up and
Ah!
inhales and just goes, and she would like to rage and grapple.
Jesus.
We return to the adventuring party.
Okay.
Sneak around. Sneak.
Okay, they're coming.
Run away. Run away.
That's the first time I've just like had fun with a match in a long time.
Oh no.
Lock.
Why?
We now have
God.
2 people in the permanent graveyard of the lobby.
That's what this is?
No, this is just a camp, and I just added a tombstone for Drongo, and now Locke is here too.
Mass graves, man.
Hey, look, we don't know the outcome of the other 2. They could very much end up in this grave.
Question. If you're petrified and you're smashed to pieces, are you still technically alive?
Oh.
So there is a greater restoration. I don't know how it works on a smashed petrified object. And then there's a 9th level spell, True Resurrection, which I would assume could bring body pieces and parts and stuff all back together. The only problem is I have that calculated as a 350,000 gold piece spell scroll.
Greater
So we gotta get
restoration, I
Ryan.
think, would work, but you have to put the pieces back together. I think Critical Role had to do that in one particular scene.
Yeah, so
Because
Who knows?
if you restore it while it's in pieces, then you probably have body parts all over the place.
pretty much. Yeah, let's go with that. So, okay, guys. Me. There we go. No more base. Elliot, would you like to give us a recap of last session, please?
I would if I had the thing open, and I'm trying to open it right now.
No, that's all right. Once the recap is done, I need to go back out for dinner prep, and then I'll come back in. So
It's an early break.
it's not so much a break, just I need to
Yeah.
move some veggies around.
All right, it's ready. All right then, it's Princes of the Apocalypse, episode 20. Merlos Ernrail himself stood behind us. His magical gaze bore into Guy and Dr. Croker. Guy managed to resist the magic that tried to ensnare her, but Dr. Croker was not so fortunate. Marlos's gaze enveloped Dr. Croker, whose entire body suddenly turned completely into stone statue that sank to the bottom of the waters where he previously bathed. The healer was down. Guy dived in after Dr. Croker, hoping to retrieve him from the waters, but Dr. Croker's body was now tremendously heavy and wouldn't budge from where it stood. Marlos turned his gaze towards Phil, who managed to resist its effects. Marlos swung his war pick into Phil, where it managed to bounce off his magical shield, but Marlos was ferocious with his war pick, swinging multiple times into him. Locke, recognizing that what a Medusa-like creature could do, withdrew from Phil's person and lifted a mirror, lifted towards Marlos, hoping to use its reflection against himself. Guy exited the waters and rushed in to aid the rest of the party. Guy managed to distract Marlos, giving Phil a chance to move away from Marlos and his war pick. Locke and Guy focused their efforts into throwing everything they had into slaying this evil creature. Phil used his last spell slot on Locke, giving her protection against good and evil. Marlos gazed again, taking its effect on Guy. Her movements becoming sluggish, and she was having trouble trying to hit Marlos, who fortunately was looking a little worse for wear. Phil slammed a well-aimed firebolt into Marlos. Locke used Cure Wounds on Guy, but unfortunately it was too late. Guy looked towards the party, pleading with them to run before she too turned into stone. The monk was down. Marlos turned his attention upon Locke, mercilessly smashing his warpick into her, dropping her into the ground before sending another hit into her defenseless body, crushing the life out of her. The artificer was down. Phil was now the last man standing, with no spell slots left and no backup left. Marlos descended his warpack into Phil, dropping him into the ground unconscious and bleeding. Marlos walked away victorious, cackling madly over our decimated party members as he trudged away. On the ground behind Marlos, Phil's chest heaved once. Then it heaved again. Then with a great heave, Phil regained consciousness, laying in a pool of blood in both his and his allies. He turned his eyes towards Marlos, still cackling and unaware of him. Seizing the moment, Phil lifted his hand, conjuring all that he had into the last spell slot. A spell shot a firebolt towards Marlos' turned face. It sailed through the air and struck true into the evil creature, detonating its head into pieces of grey matter, leaving its body slumping to the ground, into the cold stones, where it dissolved into a black goo. We won, but at a great cost. Phil's efforts to revive Locke was futile, and he didn't have the power nor the means to save his comrades now turned to stone. Phil recovered the warpick and won from Merlos, neither useful to his fallen friends. Phil tried to find help. He tried 3 different rooms. The first room contained a pair of Duragar and an air elemental who didn't appear interested or convinced in Phil's circumstance. Leaving the room, they left the room, disappearing down a spiral staircase further into the earth. The second room contained several ogres, so he carefully closed the door behind, leaving them be. The third room, and last room, was a torture room run by a cultist inquiring about more slaves for questioning. Phil managed to bluff his way out of there, pretending to have forgotten to bring more in before leaving. Phil, alive but ultimately defeated, followed through the passageway back to the monastery alone. Leaving the monastery, he spotted a tethered mount, a vulture, Goose Springsteen, who immediately recognized Locke's scent, nuzzling into him affectionately. They both flew away out of the canyon in search of help that Phil hoped might be able to save what was left of his friends. See.
Oh, and what a session that was. Holy shit.
Mm.
Thank you guys for making that.
Still charging that soul flare. I mean, Spirit Bomb. Damn it, look at this, is freaking mixed.
Okay. So,
Dr. Kirk is now a beautiful soap dispenser. In the bath.
trying to work out how to start the story.
Phil's sword across the canyon. There you
Oh, he's sore, all
Okay.
right.
Phil's bleeds across the canyon.
So, Phil knows this, but what the rest of the party doesn't see is Phil take flight with Goose Springsteen. And Phil, not knowing how he got into the dungeon within the Sacred Stone Monastery, only has information to recall when Broldentha and Hilta were talking with the party as they made it outside of the Sacred Stone Monastery, and they said they were on the way to Redlark. Phil, unfortunately, failed to recollect what that location was, and so he took flight, and he is currently traveling northwest rather than southwest towards, or west towards Redlark. I will repost the map we've got.
Trying to run away from your responsibilities, Phil.
Actually,
Yeah,
he wants to go find Hilta. He's gone in search. Obviously, nobody knows. I didn't see the. Sorry, let me double check those boots. So I'm gonna post the map. And those X's on the map are pretty scantily placed, dodgily placed, I'll say. But he's on his way to Westbridge rather than Redlark. But we're going to switch to Splash and her character. Right now, Splash's character is coming from the area of the Sword Mountains / Crypt Garden Forest. And he's noticed quite disturbing weather. This is extremely out of the ordinary. And right now, towards the west, Harvey, you're noticing the rains are heavy, extremely heavy. What is your character doing?
Where am I making my way to?
Well, so did you see the map?
Yeah, I've got it up now. I've got.
So the mountains and the
Yeah,
forest is to the very far west of the map.
Yeah.
And you're noticing this bad weather is towards your east, towards west.
Okay. Am I able to sort of discern which way it's heading?
It's station. So it's heavy rain,
It's
but this rain is just
heavily over the
falling.
west.
Yeah, it's falling straight down, but it seems to have emanated from the east towards Westbridge.
Okay. I don't know. I want to fly over there and sort of see what's going on.
Okay, so your character takes flight and you start moving in the direction of west, and the rain doesn't ease up. It only gets heavier and heavier. And this doesn't feel right. This is a torrential downpour. This isn't normal rain.
Mm.
This is ridiculous. You're starting to notice pooling of water below you in ways that you haven't seen in all your lifetime. At least not in this area. And as this rain continues, your visibility starts to diminish as you get closer and closer, as you fly further east, say.
Am I able? So I want to try and see if there's like a concentrated point that the weather is targeting, or whether it's just
With your vision diminishing, that's kind of hard to do, but you did notice the clouds darkest to the east.
Mm. I'd like to fly above the cloud.
You can surely try. Give me an athletics check, please.
Okay. $22.
22 will do it. You manage to get above most of the storm to where it's daylight. And you see the sunshine, but it's unusually windy up here as well. And you find it difficult to traverse. And so you're currently battling and you're flying at about half your regular pace because it is so intense.
Okay.
What are you doing?
1 mile. That's not very far. I'm going to use Primeval Awareness. So as an action, you can expend 1 ranger spell slot to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fey, fiends, or undead are present within 1 mile of you, or within up to 6 miles if you're in favored terrain, which I am. The feature doesn't reveal the creature's location or number.
You're sensing something. You feel that it's coming from the east. You don't know where, but towards the center of the storm, in the direction of the storm, there's a faint pulse of energy that feels extremely negative to you.
Okay. I will head towards that pulse of energy.
Okay, so you continue to traverse this weather, this horrendous weather. You're struggling. Can I have a constitution? Wait, let me. Since you rolled so well in your athletics check, please give me a constitution saving throw with advantage, please.
16.
No worries, you're fine. You're struggling, but you managed to maintain your pace, maintain your current heading. Now we switch over to Phil, who currently is clinging for dear life to Goose Springsteen with all his strength and might, as Phil believes he's heading in the right direction. There's a sense of urgency and desperation to get where you need to go. Goose Springsteen, despite the terrible weather, is definitely struggling, but is managing to push through. This rain is intensifying, and it's getting heavier and heavier. Phil is getting soaked through completely. How is Phil feeling at the moment?
Well, is the rain causing any pain beyond just the temperature?
It's hitting your skin hard. It doesn't sting, but you definitely feel each and individual raindrop connect with your body. And it's not painful, but it's definitely there, and it's extreme.
It's kind of a mix of relief that he's out of the underground, that he's outside for once, but also a penance, like he's being punished for leaving them behind, for failing them, and it's kind of a feeling of reluctant acceptance of the situation, knowing that the wrong move could be his last. So he's just clinging on, just very stressed, very anxious, a little relieved, a little penitent, and just all over the place.
It's alright, only the penitent man will back.
Okay, so you continue to battle towards this storm. And we're going to switch over to Elliot.
Ooh, all right.
So, Elliot, you're currently on your travels to Redlock. You've been quested by your commander, and they've told you that there is a contact for you to reach in Redlock. His name is Imda Relvonda. IMDARRELVAUNDER. So you've been told that this is your.
Shake it. God.
I'll post it in chat. Imda Relvonda.
Like, how many R's can I put in here? Sorry, he's a pirate.
No, he's not. I mean, it would be cool, but he's not. So you've been told to meet up with Imda Relvonda, and you're on a horse. You've been granted a noble steed,
Mhm.
and you're in a gallop. You're in a gallop towards Redlock. You've
Mhm.
been told that there's been reports of mysterious weather, uncontrollable weather,
Mhm.
and you don't know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
It's weird. The sun
might
is
travel.
shining. You can hear the bird.
Mhm.
They're singing. They're tweeting.
Okay.
It's just a wonderful, wonderful day. You're no, they're not tweeting. Sorry, Elliot. It's called X now.
It is. It fell. The pin's fallen.
No, I missed what you said, but I put it together in my own head.
That's right.
And but as you stride towards Redlock, the wind begins to pick up. It starts off as a mild breeze, and as you get further down the track, it starts to pick up to a moderate breeze. And then from there, it starts to push on you. It starts to hinder your progress. And it goes from a headwind to a side wind to a tailwind to the side to the head to the side to the other side to the tail. And it just keeps blowing around you. And you can't make heads or tails of it. Please give me a constitution saving throw.
Oh, we all know I'm good at those ones. All right, it's actually pretty good. Sorry, I have to open the character sheet again.
You're fine.
Ooh, should be a +2. Con save. Oh, okay. That is a 22.
You're fine. You push on and you start to ask more of your horse. And that gallop just pushes into a hard stride. And regardless of the weather, you manage to hold on. And it's not exhausting, but it's definitely hard.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's definitely taking its physical toll on you as a rider and your horse as you travel. You make it into Redlock. I think there's always got to be a
Mm-hmm.
and you've come in from the west, and you know where Imdar is located.
Mm-hmm. Imdar.
Okay, so thank you. Dinner is saved.
It's pretty corny.
Super corny.
Mm,
So,
and taters.
um, and as you pull into town, it starts raining a little bit. Not rain, but it's like the clouds have darkened, and there's a gentle splash of water upon your face as it starts to spit. But the wind is not relenting, and you find Imdar's hut, his house. What are you doing?
I make my way towards the house, and I try to tether the horse into a spot that at least can kind of protect it from the elements a bit, if there is one.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Sleight of hand. Okay.
I don't know, it just felt appropriate.
Sleight of hand. That's just a 9. So not great.
You managed to tether this horse
Mhm.
to the bollard out front,
Mhm.
and you make your way to the door. What are you doing?
I knock on the door.
You hear a disgruntled call out, "Come in!"
Come in. All right. I open the door.
The
And
door slams open. The wind has pushed it. And he's like, "Hurry up, get in! Shut the door behind you."
all right, I quickly get in and just drag that door closed against the wind.
Give me a athletics check, please.
That's 12.
You barely managed to get the door shut behind you.
Mm-hmm.
As you almost have to force it shut
Mm-hmm.
as it closes. And you hear this voice. You hear footsteps come up behind you.
Mhm.
I've been expecting you. Sorry. I've been
Perfect.
expecting you.
I pull my hood back. It's like you must be Imdar.
Yes, yes. You must be the reinforcements that I've sent from the city.
That is correct. Keenan. And I put my hand up to a handshake.
Keenan, pleasure to meet you. What have they told you?
What have they told me? It's up to me. Okay.
Just like I mean, as
I'll give you.
far as you know, all that you know
Mhm.
is that there's been reports of bad weather, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, second my. Yeah, I gotta remember my group's name again. What's the group name again? They Oath of the
Order of the
Description.
Gauntlet.
Oh, the gauntlet. Yeah. The order sent me this way. Something to do with this weather, which obviously is all around us. I'm not surprised that this is an issue, but I don't know what a man can do with weather.
Are you telling me they didn't give you reinforcements? Where's your army?
Army. They don't send armies for something like this.
No mercenaries with you?
Not that I was told. It was only myself.
Ah, for God's sakes. This is bloody outrageous. I can't believe they sent you and you alone.
Well, what is
Sorry.
it? Clearly, it must be bigger than just the weather. Then what is it? What's
Well,
happening?
I'm glad you're able to put two and two together.
Mhm.
There have been reports throughout the Sumber Hill, throughout this Desarian Valley. There's rumors, but I don't think they're mere rumors. I think some of these are based in fact. We've heard reports of cultists moving across the valley, The weather has been strange for months, and it's only gotten worse. I don't think this is coincidental, if you know what I mean.
Have these cultists been threatening the people?
Indirectly. I can't say that they've made this the easiest of settings, but he shakes his head in disbelief that you're alone. Look, I don't have that many reports, but I mean, at least you've got a steed. Perhaps you can gather some more information. We need to know what we're dealing with here. We're likely to need reinforcements. And you look at him and you realize this is an aged man. And he's got some scars, like he's seen combat. Give me an insight check, please.
It's very good. 22.
You kind of feel like this guy's overreacting. Maybe everything he's saying is blown out of proportion.
Mhm.
How do you
So what
respond?
makes... Sorry, continue.
How do you respond?
Okay. So what makes you think that this is such a huge thing? Like, all I can tell right now is that the weather is terrible, and there are men in the hills doing something that's indirectly or whatever involved with the people. So what is the problem itself?
Damn it, man. Can't you see the signs? Clearly, this is the worst of the worst. I just feel it in my bones. These old bones, they feel it. But I guess... And he starts to slow down and he takes a deep breath.
Sorry, calm yourself, man. No, I don't do that. But yeah, keep going.
He takes a breath and he starts to slow down. He goes, perhaps I am overreacting. Scout about the town, see what you can find, and see where this is going. Report back to me and as soon as you can if you get any sort of information. I'll try and gather reinforcements while I can, but I can make no promise.
Not until there's enough evidence to point out to them they require more reinforcements, so you'll need harder evidence than just simply a feel in the bones, because I know they won't return for something like that.
He sighs heavily. Evidence. God damn it, man. I'm trying to protect people. Of course,
Well-
the bureaucrats need their evidence. See what
Well,
you can
fair.
do.
I'll do what I can. I'll see what I can find, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, as long as they don't get blown away by the wind itself.
Please. Don't dilly-dally. Hurry.
Don't do it, Daddy. They're pitch pot. Anyway. All right. As I turn, the guard says, where's the nearest inn before I get tossed around?
Down the road, it's on your left.
All right. Thank you. All right. I head out to grab the horse if it's still there.
The horse is gone.
Mm-hmm. Shit! I knew it was going to happen. I quickly rush into the street to see if I can find where it's run.
The wind has picked up a little more than it had before. Give me a perception check with disadvantage, please.
Probably didn't find it then. Perception is... Where's that one? I got a 6. No good luck.
Nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, so much for having a horse. Well, then I start. Sorry, I quickly Nah, it doesn't matter. I'd start heading towards the inn, like still keeping an eye out to see if the horse has been around somewhere as I go.
You make your way to the inn, and it's at this stage Will, your character, has made its way to Redlock.
It's time.
Cool.
Um,
You find a horse.
she
Sorry.
is. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
22.
You're fine. As much as this wind has beaten and battered you around, you pass it off as if it's nothing at all. Like you stride on into town, and it's quiet, and it makes sense. It's so treacherous outside. The wind is blowing quite profusely that you don't see nothing to do but head to the tavern, the inn. What do you do? I kind of railroaded you, but what do you do?
No, well, it would have been either that or try and find out if Hilter's here in Redlock. So,
So what
tavern.
would your character do?
Tavern first and ask questions there.
Okay. So
I mean, otherwise, it's just wandering the streets like, Hilter! Show your face!
you scream into the wind, but it doesn't seem to land purchase on anybody's ears. The wind is that strong that it just muffles your sound. Like it's blowing hard, and you just you don't catch anybody's attention.
Go. To the inn.
Okay,
Or
so
tavern. Is it like an inn tavern sort of?
yeah, it's an all-in-one, one-stop
Yeah.
shop kind of small
Ah.
town.
Please tell me it's
Place.
called the all-in-one. Make it happen.
And it's inside the picture of a tankard. You head inside. The rain's picked up a little bit, so by the time you walk through the doors of this tavern, you've got precipitation all over you. You got beads of water across your forehead and your arms, your legs, your whole body is. You're not soaked, but you're definitely wet from the weather.
Hmm.
What do you do?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Had sex.
How many people are in the bar?
You find there's about half a dozen individuals, including the barkeep.
All right. Well, I stand by the bar and I just call out, "Does anyone know Hilter?" And I'm not
Okay.
trying to be like,
Subtle about it.
yeah. So if it comes off the wrong way, it comes off the wrong way.
Okay. Bear with me. Pulling up a board, which I have because I have it. So I am going to change the weather because I can. Ooh. Okay. You guys are going to remember this map. It's going to be great.
Well, it ain't on the map, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm working towards it.
Gaddy.
Where would your character be in this? Elliot? At the bar, at a table?
I can't see it, but I'm assuming I'd probably be at a table.
So, do you have a tankard, Keenan?
Yeah, you know what? Yes. Small tankard.
Cool. So, Will, your
Yep.
character walks in. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'd just call out, where is Hilta?
Where is
I mean,
Fred?
I don't... no, like, where's Rachel?
Right.
Where is she?
I don't try to sound threatening about it, but I'm also
You're
not.
being insistent.
Yeah, I'm not being patient about it.
Roll me intimidation check.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Nat 20.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
So, you are performing this exactly how you want. So a good roll determines that you are in control of your emotions.
Yeah.
And you get from behind the bar, the bartender turns to you and says, "Hey, lass, don't be worrying about her. I haven't seen her, but I'm sure she'll poke her head around. Most patrons usually do. Can I get you a beer?"
I'm gonna respond with, no, I want Hilta. Where is she? If she's not here, is she around here?
Nobody about by the name of Hilter in Redlock. I'm sorry.
She would have come with the people from some... what would I call it? A monastery?
Yeah.
She would have come with a bunch of slaves that had been
Okay.
freed recently.
So the barkeep has a severe look of apprehension, and as soon as you say freeze, his demeanor turns down and he calms down. Well, I mean, that's always a positive. No one of that description has shown up here, but I mean, we have passers-by. They always come to this tavern. I mean, it's the only tavern in the town, so pull up a chair. I'm sure whoever you're looking through will come through, and slides over a tankard of ale towards you.
All right, I'll take a seat. But I won't drink.
Sure. So you begin to nurse your tankard back to good health. Does Keenan react to anything that's going on?
Well, he's definitely heard it, considering she boomed her voice around the room.
Hey, I
I'm
just wanted
assuming-
attention.
Yeah, clearly. Well, he'd probably be watching just to see what was happening, and if she's calmed down, then he'll just remain where he is for a little bit, just nursing his own drink for a bit, warming up, drying off.
Cool beans. So we're going to transport ourselves back to Phil and Splasher's character. So Man, eating corn was a terrible choice.
The internet just corn.
So So you guys are less than a mile outside of town, and you can't see more than 100 feet in front of you. But well, Phil can't, and Splash's character can't. But all of a sudden, both of you, through the clouds, Splash, and through the pouring rain, you both see this bright blue glow of pulsing light. It just seems to go off almost like an explosion of energy, and it just pushes past you in a huge sphere. And Phil, you notice this straight away. As soon as that wave passes you, this rain is beyond torrential. It is extreme. You've never experienced water like this in your life. It almost feels like you're in a waterfall. It's that heavy. But you can still tell it's rain. What are you doing?
It's getting dangerous up here. Let's see if we can go down a little bit out of the sky. Trying to coax the vulture down to the ground because the last thing he wants is to be thrown off into some oblivion.
As you do this, bolts of lightning start to flicker all the way around you, like in a full 360 circumference. And it's strong, it's heavy, and somehow it pierces and breaks through the storm, the rain. Like you hear these cracks of thunder and lightning as if you were right next to them, even though they're further away from you. But you see the flash, and then you hear the crack, and then you see another flash and the crack, and another flash, another flash, another flash.
Down.
And just this multitude of lightning bolts just all around you, thunderous roar, somehow break the noise of this heavy, heavy rain. As you begin to descend, Splash, what's your character doing? You've seen this as well, but from the safety of the sky above.
I want to take a minute to try and remember if I've read about anything like this happening in my research.
Give me a history check, please.
18?
Pretty good roll. This sounds familiar. You're definitely recalling that weather like this is definitely not normal. You don't know what's causing it, but you don't feel that it's natural. You don't feel it's part of Earth's way. There's nothing normal about what you're experiencing. It doesn't seem to tie into anything that your clan has focused on. Nothing like that. But it's definitely extremely sinister. Like it just doesn't feel right.
Does it feel like I'm getting closer to that pulse of sinister energy?
Yes. You'll get closer to the center of the storm. And the wind, give me another Constitution saving throw with advantage, please.
Whew. Is that advantage? Dirty 20 with advantage. Natural 1 without.
Love to see it. So you're fighting, you're struggling, but being that you're above the clouds, even though the wind is strong, you're managing to stay afloat in the air. But you, no roll necessary. You feel in danger. You don't feel safe. Like,
Am I able to sense any other presence around me?
no.
Okay.
But that faint feeling, it's a little bit stronger the closer you've gotten to this storm.
Mm.
But the way this wind is picking up, you don't know how much longer you can fight before you need to give yourself a rest.
Okay. And you said the storm isn't traveling, it's just like at a standstill in one specific area?
It's concentrated and it's spread out quite far and wide. Give me an inside check, low DC.
21.
As far as you can tell, it stretches out for at least a mile in a radial direction.
Mm.
Beyond that, the weather seems not so much calmer, but it's definitely not as bad as what it is here.
Okay. I'm going to try and find a safe way to land.
Okay. And you're in your favorite terrain, is that correct?
Yeah, mountains and grasslands are my favorite terrains.
Good choice. Give me is that with advantage or is it like expertise or something? What's the bonus?
It's just with advantage.
Give me a survival check with advantage, please.
2 17s, so plus survival is 24.
Okay. You break through the clouds as you start to descend, and knowing your geography, you know that this is in part where Westbridge would be. And as you get closer and closer to the ground, you see in the middle of this town an open case. It's strange, but you see it, and this ball of blue light suddenly fades out and disappears, and all of a sudden the thunder and the lightning intensify around you as the water is rising around this town, and you start to see things floating along in shallow water. It doesn't feel right. At the same point in time, Phil, you start to descend, and give me a survival check with advantage, please,
Survival. Okay.
since you did well with your other checks.
17.
Okay.
17's
You
good.
also come into this town and you see the same thing. You see this blue light sphere sort of absorb within to itself and disintegrate into nothingness next to an open case. And the lightning picks up and starts striking heavily around you.
Would I correlate the two events?
This event is nothing like you've ever seen before. You've
I
never
meant the
seen
light
this.
and then the lightning. If it's like, does it appear cause and effect, or is it just two random events as I'm trying to survive?
It's a really intense situation. Give me a insight check, please.
Inside check.
Moderate DV.
Oh my! Ah! It was a nat one, and then it re-rolled because my character class re-rolls nat ones, and it was a 6. No better. Well, a little better, but
You can't tell.
no, it's fine.
Like it's completely caught you off. This wild weather has caught you completely off guard, and the lightning itself is striking a little bit of fear in you. Nothing that's making you horrendously scared or anything, um, but it startled you at the very least.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
you splash through the heavy rain. Can you please describe what Phil sees?
Yes, I can. A not particularly tall creature, but standing at around 5 feet, with a deep green cloak shrouding most of its face. You see that it's a little like too awkwardly hunched to be a human, but just through the rain and sort of distortion from that, you can see that there's light brown and white feathers peeking out from underneath the cloak. And as you sort of look further down, you can see that in place of feet, there are talons. And this creature looks to you and raises one of its feathered arms and pulls its cloak away from its face to reveal a barn owl Aarakocra.
Wait, who?
Ha!
Sorry.
Elliot, please check Messenger.
Yeah.
You see these large, inquisitive, piercing black eyes just sort of staring at you with no real intent behind them, just sort of seeing you and not seeing you at the same time.
Nice.
Phil, how does this make you feel? I'm actually posting a picture. It is the avatar as chosen by Splash.
I love it.
Well, he's first things first. He sees it, but right now, with the waterfall of rain on him, the lightning around him, and trying to land the vulture safely in the middle of a flooding town, that's his main priority. He'll keep in mind the possible resident of this town. But first, he wants to touch feet on the ground first, or safety, and then reassess his situation from there. You would probably notice, probably not, that he does. Even though the rain's got to kind of has him cleansed up, he looks rough. His clothes are tattered. His one eye is almost shut. Bruising, scars. He looks like he ran into a tree or something and fell out of it, or whatever. Maybe even worse. So he looks a little panicked and is focused on trying to get down and get to safety.
So, Splash, you also notice that this little gnome is mounted upon a vulture, and you recognize this vulture.
You realize that this creature was not looking like past you or through you, like they weren't paying attention to you because they were more enthralled with the vulture behind you.
Underneath the ring.
And you see the feathers around the face and chest of this creature just sort of fluff up with glee as they hurriedly sort of scuttle past you, just making these like happy chirps as they go and greet Goose Springsteen.
It's at this point that you're approaching Phil. Phil, how do you feel about this?
Please don't eat me. Please don't eat me. He's a little scared and just grateful that it's not focused primarily on him, but the vulture. So he's still trying to assess, because should I make an insight check to know if it's threatening noises she's making or he's making, or it's making?
No roll necessary. You're definitely fearful of the situation.
He's very skittish at the moment. Very skittish.
Phil, please roll me a perception check.
Perception. I'm changing my dice. That's a 5. I was giving you a chance, die.
All of a sudden, you see this bird's expression, face change, and the head moves almost as if it's on a swivel. Splash. You hear the screams of a child as the water around you is beginning to raise. And it's getting to uncomfortable level.
All anyone can hear is chirps and squeaks and honks as Harvey is obviously greeting Goose Springsteen. And as the screams sort of pierce through the air, Harvey sort of stops, and you can tell that their demeanor is changed a little as their head swivels around again in the direction of the scream. And they turn back to Goose Springsteen, chirp a little bit more, and then make their way toward the scream.
Bill, you don't really know what's going on, but give me an insight check, please.
Okay, see, I'm glad I changed the die. That's a dirty 20. Thank you.
You feel a call to action as the goose you're riding, as the vulture you're riding, turns and starts to make its way in the same direction that Harvey's going in, and you feel the sense of urgency. You feel that something's not right, and someone needs help. You don't know that, but it's something within you that discerns your need to see what the commotion's about, and you follow this bird person creature to this small hut and Splash. You, without any effort, bust the door down. And Phil, it's at this point, because you're not far behind, you hear the whimpering cries of a little girl, and she's saying, "Help me! Help me! Help me, please! Help me!" As the water is rising at a ridiculously rapid pace. At a moment ago, you could have sworn it was an inch lower than it is right now. And you pause a moment to see the wood grain on one of the walls, and you notice the water slowly, menacingly rising up and up this wood grain bit by bit. What are you both doing?
Well, for me, how big is it? Is it like a 1-story house, a 2-story,
Single story.
single story? What is the roof made of? Is it like just hardwood, or is it like a thatch roof?
It seems to be wood, but it's nothing prestigious. It's just a basic house, hardwood house. It seems to match the decor of the rest of the town. You don't feel that it's wealthy, but you don't feel that it's poor at the same time.
Well,
And
what he's
at
looking.
this,
Sorry.
well, at this moment, the water seems to be a third of the way up the door.
Yeah, is does it look like there's any weak spots in the roof anywhere, like any hatches or like a high up window or something?
Give me an investigation check.
Okay, it went from a nat 1 to a 16. His adrenaline is kicking in.
Okay, so you don't see any openings on the roof per se. It seems pretty sealed off, but you can sort of tell with the way that the doors open in front of Splash that there are definitely windows and other such things inside. And you start to see, as the water is almost halfway up the door, things starting to float outside and through this house.
Harvey will take this opportunity to make their way to the little girl and sort of lift her out of the water, and then try to listen to see if anyone else is there.
You don't get the sense that anybody else is in here. You feel that it's just this little girl, and it's definitely the only voice you can hear. As she first gives you a look of shock that turns into comfort and reprieve as you go to pick her up. She just grips into your feathers, and you can feel this embrace, this warm embrace, as she just starts and Phil, you hear this. She's like, help me, please. Please help me, please, help me. And these whimpered cries, you hear them, you can feel them. And what are you doing?
I hold the child. Sorry, I'm just seeing Will's message. And I just sort of in a hushed tone say, calm yourself, and make my way through the water out of the house.
Phil, you see this bird person, carrying this little girl as she comes out towards the door, and you both get a sense of urgency. Like, where you are is definitely not.
Try to find some high ground where the water is sort of flowing downhill, I guess.
Give me a perception check.
Phil would try to call out, "Here, hand her to me. Let's get to somewhere safe," because he's still mounted
24.
on the vulture and he's been clinging on as the vulture's been following this entire time.
I just imagine Goose Springsteen following with like the slapping duck feet sounds, like plap, plap,
Yes.
plap, plap,
Ah!
plap. I got a 24 on perception.
Okay, so all you can't make out anything beyond this immediate town because the rain is coming down so heavy and so hard that you don't see any runoff or any downward slope. This water seems to be rising and seems to be pretty stagnant, and all you can see is these multiple ripples as this rain hits the water that's seemingly coming up to your waist. You do get the sense from Phil that he means absolutely no harm to this little girl.
I hand her over and sit her on Goose Springsteen.
And it's at this point you realize that you both need to make your way away from this town out into the hill.
I will try and discern whether there's anybody else in the immediate area that is trapped or struggling to get out.
Give me a perception check.
Whew. 27, not 20.
That's the second
You
one.
can't hear anything but rain and thunderstorm. You move through the streets in a difficult fashion because you're partly wading through water, but you don't hear any cries for help, any screams or anything. As far as you can tell, it's just this little girl, and that's it.
And I can't see where the case was, can I?
You've moved away from that location. You can't see it anymore. Judging by the rising water, you don't think you would be able to see it anymore if it went underwater.
I'm gonna tell. So, I turn to Goose Springsteen and chirp and trill, giving them direction to get these people to safety. And
Bruce
I
Springsteen
will.
responds, and you understand Goose to be saying, "I'm only going to follow you."
All right. Harvey
Can I see any kind of place to
says a
go?
little.
Sorry, Phil.
No, I'm also keeping an eye on some safe place to head towards.
Give me a perception check, please.
Making me roll. Okay, that's an 18.
You don't see anything like this. Like, you don't see any safe way out of this situation. It seems dire at best, and you feel almost mercilessly beholden to this creature that flew you out of where you came from.
Harvey makes their way to safety with Goose Springsteen in tow.
So, Phil, you clutch this little girl as you hold for dear life onto Goose, as with difficulty you both, Harvey and Goose, manage to break away and take off from the ground, from this rising water, and you just head away from this town. And as you do, you sort of get a glimpse from high view of just how flooded the area is, as you see debris and leaf litter and just floating all around you. You see boards from fences, you see branches from trees, you see leaves, you see all manner of things that you weren't sure could float, but they're there as you head away from this town toward the hills. And as you do, progressively, the rain gets lighter and lighter. It's still heavy, but it's not as intense. The lightning and thunder is still going on, but it simmers down. And you see the flashes, but the rumbles take longer and longer to reach you as you make your way further and further from this town. Okay, so we're going to pause those two right there. And we're going to transition again back to Elliot and Will. It seems like it's been a good 5-10 minutes of time that seems to have passed you, and nothing seems to be happening. Will and Elliot, is there anything either of you would be doing?
She's getting more impatient. She's maybe another 5-10 minutes away from like slamming the countertop and walking out. But she's not trying to hide it either.
Sorry for like listening in on what you were mentioning before about a monastery about people, but was it true that you've like that there've been like people like slaves or something that's been set free from a monastery or something? Because I've been told to look into circumstances around the monastery, and oh, sorry, not specifically just the monastery, but up in the hills. There you go. It was mainly like something's happening up in the hills that I've been told to look into. Perhaps our circumstances are crossing over here.
Yes, I'm looking for one of the slaves. Her name was Hilda, and I like pull out this letter. It's from Guy. That she gave to Hilda, and lady pretty much says she sent me this. I'm trying to find her to figure out what happened to someone that was with this party.
Have they been gone a long time?
No. Well, yes. I heard from them a couple of days ago, but I'm getting worried and would like to go see if they're okay immediately.
Sorry, actually, who gave the letter to who again? So Guy gave his letter to Hilda.
Yep, and then Hilda mailed it.
Hilda mailed it.
This was the letter that was given with the 300 gold to Hilda.
Yes. All the money disappeared. Got it. Yep.
She's
Very
she's just looking for Hilta to find like where to go.
Because she's specifically she's looking for Hilta to find out what's happened to the block or the group. That
To find out what's happened to Guy.
to Guy. Yeah, specifically. Like I said, like, does Hilda travel through this town? Something like that? Because I'm actually looking into something to do with cultists up in the mountain in the hills. Is this something in relation to that? So you mentioned it?
Sorry, Elliot. You don't know anything about any cultists or anything at all. All you
did.
know is that there is reports of bad weather and mysterious figures out in the bushland, and that's it.
Hey Ken, can you rewind back to when Lee mentioned that there were cultists?
We've heard reports of cultists moving across the valley.
Thank you.
I apologize for saying the word cultist.
Yeah, okay.
It's hard as a DM. I apologize.
That's all right. If I wasn't meant to know, then I wasn't meant to know. There we go. I retract my statement.
Well, you rephrase your statement.
Yeah, okay. I'll say like I'm actually visiting. I've just entered just visited the town, Tilling. I was told that there's some mischief happening up in the hills. Some figures doing something. I'm not sure. Something happening in the hills that I need to look into. I'm not sure if this might be related or not. Would you be alright if I stay with you to find out if this Hilton could come around and give me some details on what was going on?
You can do whatever you want. She's gonna go back to your question on the if Hilta's in Redlock.
So before we progress, I want to apologize. I want to just backtrack a little bit. So Will, can you please explain what Elliot sees in front of him?
All right.
Okay, Will,
Lady
go ahead.
Pierce, aka Dummy Mummy. She's like very tall, 4'4". She's human. She's getting up there in her years. She's nearly 50. She's just like muscle. Pretty well built. And kind of looks like Guy, I guess, a little bit. Half of Guy.
The better half.
Like exactly half down the middle of Guy is what she looks like.
Because that's how genetics work.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right.
I agree. I mean, I should know.
The guy that's before you is a human, about 6 foot, so the usual typical height for a human. Beard, short black hair. It actually looks a lot like physically, like literally like me. Very similar to me. In chainmail, I posted the picture in there because I've been editing this as I've been listening to it. I'm like, I could craft them up just to make sure it's all there. So he's in a chainmail, armored, shield, sword, just strapped on him at the moment, and sword at his hip, some gear, a bit of a shoulder cape, so it's just one draped on one side. And so, Nixie's here. Hey, Nixie, I did it. Looks like he knows how to handle himself. But his voice indicates that he might be on a slightly more aristocratic.
Yeah.
There we go. It's like aristocratical. Like that's wrong.
Equipment wise, Lady's got like a quarterstaff,
Mhm.
long thin rod. It's got a long sword and a great club, and she's got like these two sort of crates, I guess, cases, strapped to her hips, and then two more on her back, which are a bit big. There's
Wow.
for weapons.
Cases?
Yeah.
It's a
Okay.
veritable mech suit.
Huh?
She a walking armory.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh gosh.
She came to find someone, and she's come prepared.
Keenan was inquiring about the people that was like rescued in the Somber Hill areas, and about the cultists that he definitely didn't hear about.
Lady doesn't know much. Just that a bunch of people from Redlark were among the prisoners or slaves or whatever. All she's learned are from like single page letters,
Mhm.
double spaced.
Just make it seem like it's a very big important letter.
Yeah. But she knows that Hiltor was among them. And that Hiltor was the one that sent her the letter.
Mm.
Other than that, she doesn't really know anything about cultists. I don't think Guy would have told her about cultists. Because that would have made her more worried.
Mhm.
She doesn't know. So, like, to say that I am not going to be able to bring up that there's cultists involved.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But she's getting a little
Mhm.
bit frustrated. Her fingers are like tapping the top of the countertop.
Mhm. I'll ask what you're like tapping for. Like tapping. It's like how long ago did you receive this letter?
How long has it been? Since it's been like reasonably short, right? Like a couple of days.
A couple days.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's just a couple of days ago I got this letter, but it
Well, I mean, it probably took a day to reach you, and then a day to travel out. The mail traveled quickly. I don't think you were too far out of range.
Mhm. I'll look to the barkeep and ask him. Yeah.
Again, we can hear you, buddy.
That's delightful. I'll look towards the barkeep and go. Surely, if there were people who came through here. Sorry, my voice is going wrong again because I've slid back to my element. That's right. Surely, if there are people who had who were prisoners or slaves in some way would have come through here, surely you would have heard word of this if they had come through. DM. Fights to
barkeep?
Oh, sorry, you were telling the barkeep that information. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was getting comfortable footwear because I'm just standing on hard ground.
Yeah.
What has the barkeep heard? Has he heard about any slaves?
Well, for intent. Yeah, I got you.
No.
What, you're not going to roll for intent, or you don't know?
Barkeep looks at you and he's like, can't say I've been hearing anything about that. Like, that seems a little bit odd. Yeah, I honestly couldn't say. And it's about this time someone enters the bar.
I'm just gonna push my like drink that I got from the bartender across I'll just give it to this posh gentleman.
So about this time, gentleman joins you at the bar. He's wet. He's soaking wet, and he raises his hand to the bar. The barkeep slides him over a big ale, and he just starts chugging it down.
Did you find yourself trapped on the weather today? Did you? I know I almost did.
He stops drinking and just to sort of take breath and nods, and then just continues to chug.
Mhm. My enemy goes chug chug. Did you travel into town like I did?
He takes reprieve from his ale and puts it, like, he wasn't sculling it, but he was drinking heavily.
Mhm.
And he puts it down on the bar and says, I just came in from Riverguard Keep. Well, that wasn't my original journey, but it was a cinder. It was burnt down to the ground. I caught sight of it by smoke, heavy smoke, and what I could see from a distance was just cinders and ash. There was no one there. There was no one. I he visibly seems lost for words.
Am I familiar with? Sorry, he called it cinder.
It was burnt to a cinder. Cinder.
Yes, I wasn't sure if he named the place cinder or it just came
He
from
said
cinder.
Riverguard Keep.
There we go. Okay. Jeez. Is that far away from here? Oh, jeez, I did it again. Is that far away from here?
It's at least a day's travel, at least.
Mm.
I don't know. I just traveled as fast as I could. I didn't want to be anywhere near what caused that mess.
Really God keep. Am I familiar with its direction?
Give me a history check.
Yeah. It's pretty good. History. Scroll Demi. History 4. That is, excuse me, 21.
21. You've got an idea that it runs near the river. You know it's roughly a day's travel east from where you are.
Mhm.
You know that they would ferry people up and down the river.
Mhm.
That's as much as you know.
I'll ask him. Does the river god keep? Is it also within the Somber Hills, or is that away from the Somber Hills?
It'd be within the Somber Hills. He nods
Mhm.
and then continues a drink or two.
Mhm. Jeez. You didn't happen to see a horse on the way here, did you?
Can't say I have. I'm sorry.
Mm. I'm not surprised. This weather is pretty maddening. How long do you think it's going to keep up for?
I don't know. I've never seen anything like it, really. I mean, I've traveled up and down the Sword Coast, and Tribal Trail is a regular passage for me, but he shakes his head in disbelief. I just never really seen anything like that.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, I was
Not with
told
this
I'm going a bit mad.
ferocity and consistency. It's just, and he trails off.
Mm. Yes, I definitely noticed myself that the wind was battering me from all directions, which is definitely not on the normal side, but I'm not one to know exactly how the weather works in real life, but yes, it's just odd. Yeah, I know real life is the wrong word to, to use there. But yes, this definitely seems odd to me. Yeah. I'll ask him. It's like, oh, the lady here is actually searching for somebody. Hilda or Hilda, I believe it wants to be.
Yeah,
Have you heard
Hilda.
of her before?
He looks at you and gives you a puzzled look, like he just doesn't know. He's like,
Mhm,
can't say I've heard of them.
mhm.
All right. I'm gonna
Break shit.
fucking slam my fist on the countertop and say, none of this is of any interest to me. If Hilda's not here, I'm gonna go look for her, and I'm gonna go try and
So
head
you start
towards the
making
exit.
your way towards the door.
Yep.
Okay.
Even if it's
Right.
raining, I'm gonna be out in the rain and asking people that I can see.
Okay. Just as you swing open the door, two figures seem to be standing in the doorway about to enter the premises.
Do they move out of my way?
They're like looking hurriedly to get out of the weather. And the lady sort of catches your eye and she looks back at you and squints a little bit. And she tilts her head and she says, Guy?
Finally, someone. It's been days.
Ah,
Who are you? What do you know of Guy?
let me get out of this blasted rain. And she sort of hurries in, pushes past around you. The dwarf as well. And takes off her cloak and heads to the table. Sorry, okay. And joined by the gnome as well.
Did you teleport him upstairs?
Maybe.
He was in such a rush.
Damn it. Yeah, that's as good as it gets.
Mhm.
He's like, oh dearie. Yeah, come sit at the table, and she takes off layers of cloak that are saturated, and it reveals a short woman. And she's like, what you been looking for Guy for?
I'm worried about her. I just need to know where she is. I just want to make sure she's all right. Please just tell me where she is, and I'll be out of your hair.
Sorry, do I know you?
I doubt it. My name is Lady.
Fires a brow. She's like, you look awfully familiar. Who's this? And she twigs.
Huh?
Guy Pierce?
Yes, that's her name.
You
Who are you?
I'm Hilta.
Okay. Relief just like he's like, you sent me this letter from Guy, and I hold out the. I'm
And she's
like,
like,
please just.
she just a look of surprise. She's like, oh, I thought I knew you. You're Lady Pierce, aren't you?
Yes, that's who I am. Just
Oh, dearie. And she waves to the barkeep, and like the bartender comes around with several pints of ale and just places them one down in front of everybody. And this comment is just going up here because blah blah blah.
Mhm.
and like
I'm
there's
not.
one,
Yeah.
there's, yeah, three of you have an ale. And she points. This is Brudenthar. I'm Hilta. You're Lady Pierce. And the dwarf just acknowledges you. It's like, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm looking for my daughter. If you can just tell me where she was, where you last saw her, I'll be on my way.
I dare say she'd be moved on by now. I heard
What?
there was a cleric in town. I was going to contact her. I've seen rumble. I've seen people walking the hills, not dressed nefariously. And she seems flustered by the words she's trying to explain to you. But you gather that she's referring to a menace. Elliot, give me a perception check.
Mhm. Like I
Just-
am like listening as well.
You catch wind of what she's saying then.
Just
Yeah.
in Lady's mind right now is just, oh my god, I don't care. Where's Guy?
I don't care.
But the
And
player in me would like to know more.
um, she's like, "Oh, don't worry, dear. I can get in touch with Locke anytime I need. I just need to find the cleric of the town, and I'm sure I can get in contact with her and Guy." She's confused by the name, and then you're referring to a girl. I can get in touch with her as well. I'm sure of it.
uh, um, if you could, that would be a weight off my mind.
Well, please settle. We need to wait for the rain to pass over before we can find a cleric. But bottoms up to you. And her and the dwarf just drink a bit,
Mhm.
and we're gonna flash over to Splash and Ken.
Splash again, Ken is splash
And
in the rain.
you seem to make it to the edge of the forest, and you find a cluster of trees that seem to be protecting the ground from the rain. And the vulture and Harvey sort of bounce in, and you're able to release your hold on this very distraught little girl.
All right, let's get somewhere safe and warm. He looks at the bird person. Is do you know this area? Do you know where we can go that dry off and give her a bite to eat?
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Chirpity chirpeth.
Splash.
Speaker, speak, speak, speakity.
Sorry, I was talking. I forgot I had my mic on mute.
She just
So I
stares
was
at
right.
us.
It was definitely like tweet, 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 right?
Squeaker, squeaking.
Yeah.
Harvey swivels their head around, trying to find somewhere sort of dry so that they could bunker down for the moment while we wait for the wild weather to pass.
Within the trees that you're in, you are near the edge of the forest, but the canopy is fairly heavy, and for the most part has shielded you guys from the worst of the weather. And it's it's fairly dry where you are.
Is there like a place that looks a little bit more safe than the outskirts of the forest zones?
Give me a survival check.
14.
Okay, that was just enough. You managed to find. It's not the best, but it's a sort of covering, half cave, sort of embankment. I don't know what the word is to describe it, but nonetheless, there's no water getting into this sheltered space, and there's no water coming down in the shelter space. It's fairly dry, fairly secluded, and the trees give you some brush and bush covering to be protected.
Harvey looks down at the pretty ragged looking little guy in front of him, stretches out his wing arm thing toward the little alcove, sort of nudges their head toward that direction and just says, "There."
Come on. And he tried to lead the girl in that direction.
Harvey will lead Goose Springsteen there as well.
The vulture makes its way behind you, sort of hopping along, bouncing a little bit, feathers half out, as you all make your way under this sort of outcropping of rock. Sort of a half moon shaped cave area.
Harvey will set up a small camp, like just to get everyone dry and fed, I guess.
It's at this point that you notice the little girl just she's doesn't have any like you pet off some of the rain and stuff, but you both start to notice that she's visibly crying. She's a bit distraught. And she's quietly sobbing.
Harvey notices this and kind of awkwardly looks toward the short gentleman and sort of nudges his head in the direction of the young girl, and then turns around to cast spike growth around our area to sort of enclose us in a bit more safely.
No worries. You do so without a problem. And you feel a little bit more protected.
Hey, what's your name? He's focusing on the little girl to try to help get her attention.
Like takes her a moment, but she realizes that she's being spoken to, and she's a little bit taken back by the look of bruising and scars on your face, and she looks back at the bird and she timidly responds with, my name's Tabitha.
Tabitha. Where's your family?
And almost very cold in response, she says, they're gone.
It's actually the last name of her family. They're gone.
Were you living alone in that place?
She shakes her head no.
Oh, wait. When did you lose your family?
She puts her head down and thinks about it for a moment. Earlier today.
Listen, you don't have to talk about it right now if you don't want, but do you know what happened to them?
She swallows hard, and it takes her a moment. She stutters her words little bit by little bit, and she's like, everybody in the village was rounded up by these people, and she swallows hard, she's like, some of them don't live anymore, and and she's struggling not to cry, and she says, they were taken away.
All right, all right, all right. Just let's not. Okay, I'm so sorry. Do you have extended family somewhere? Maybe once we get some rest, we can find where your other family is.
She thinks hard and she looks at the ground and she looks left and right, and she says, Daddy ever said if there was real trouble, we should go to my uncle in Redlark.
Great, your uncle. That's perfect. And then he looks at the bird person. Where's Redlark?
Give me an insight check
Which one?
with advantage.
Who?
You.
Oh,
While all this is happening, Harvey reaches into their backpack and hands everybody some rations and begins starting a fire.
15.
With a 15, you suddenly draw 2 and 2 together. You remember that this is where Hilta and her people that you saved from the Sacred Stone Monastery were heading.
Okay, well, let's get some food in you. We'll get you dried off and get some sleep. Well, what time of day is it actually?
It's mid to late afternoon.
Okay. But once we get settled, we'll definitely take you there. Okay.
She's like, okay.
And he kind of gently nudges the girl and kind of points at the bird person. It's like, isn't that cool? Have you seen something like that before?
Can you be more specific with your question?
Oh, what he's trying to do is he's trying to distract her from the thoughts to focus on the bird, and in a way he's never seen this kind of creature before, so he's trying to see if she knows, if she's seen this kind of creature before, or like, look how interesting this looks, or whatever. Just trying to get her focused on that.
So,
Hearing that, Harvey proudly sort of puffs his feathers out a little.
Ooh.
So, you make her comfortable. You've set up a fire, no problems. You've set up a small bed space for this little girl, Tabitha, and she sort of settles in and settles down, and then Goose Springsteen just sort of bounces towards her and sort of puffs his feathers up as he nestles in right next to her and half covers her with a wing of his.
As Harvey sees that, Harvey nestles around the other side to sort of be covering and protecting both of them.
You're safe, okay?
She nods as she can't keep her eyes open anymore, and she fades out to sleep.
Thank you for helping with her. He talks to the bird person.
He just sort of nods.
So, are you from around here? Well, that'd be kind of dumb, because I would think so, maybe, but figured I'd ask just in case.
Harvey looks toward Bruce Springsteen and looks back at this creature and then just sort of nods and shrugs.
That's fair. That's fair. You don't mind a quick short detour to this Red Lark place, do you? I mean, just to bring her home.
Harvey sort of shakes their head, and just very quietly says, "I don't mind."
Good, cause if I die, someone needs to watch over her.
What makes you think you'll die?
He kind of looks down on himself, and then looks out at the weather. It's like it's been a harrowing couple of days. So my time may be coming soon.
Harvey sort of gestures his head to encourage you to tell them what's happened.
He kind of pauses and reflects and shakes his head. It's like he's processing and processing, and
Are you okay?
he shakes his head, but kind of looks around and then kind of shrugs and I don't know how, but I'm here. I'm still here. I think I need sleep too. Ow.
Harvey lifts the edge of his feathered wing that was completely covering Goose and gestures for this creature to join us in a cuddle puddle.
He recoils a little with wide eyes and shakes his head a little bit. It's like I don't want anything to happen to you. I trust me. You guys will be fine. I'll be here, and hopefully nothing bad will
extends his feathered wing and pulls this creature in.
Ah, okay. This
Exit
happening.
stage one.
Oh,
Bill
No.
gets a
And
sense
then
of
it says it's time to sleep.
Bill, you get a sense of warmth and comfort that you haven't felt. You can't remember when the last time is you felt it, but it's comforting. Really nice.
probably the last time he felt that was when he made a pile of bedrolls behind that door and snuggled in there.
I was thinking last time he felt that was prior to his appearance in this world.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if he'd even remember that, but deep down he could probably sense something. But he just kind of just a soft "thank you" he would utter before he would probably pass out from sheer exhaustion.
Okay, so you guys settle in for the evening. We go back to Kanan and Lady Pierce. Getting used to these new names, sorry guys.
Oh, good. Parker and Dude Face. Oh, yeah.
So, is there anything Kanan's doing? Is it Kanan or Keenan?
It's actually Kanan. I sometimes mix it. My bad. It's meant to be Kanan.
Right,
Hey.
so what is Kanan doing anything in particular?
Well, since that conversation's gone on the point of just kind of waiting for a bit for the weather to calm a bit, he'll interject at this point. Looking towards Hilta, Kanan will say apologies, ma'am. I can't help but couldn't help but hear you guys hear you talking about these people in the hills and this issue that's going on. I actually was called into this town looking into this issues, but I don't know actually enough details on what's been happening. Could you tell me a little bit more about what's been going on?
She's like, she looks at you a little bit wide-eyed and then calls over to the barkeep for one more drink. And you move over to the table and another pint just sits down in front of you
I was like, oh,
of ale.
may I join you?
She's already in like non-verbal communication invited you over to the table and got you to sit down with everybody else. So you're currently sitting with Lady Pierce, Brildentha, Hilta, and she introduces. She's like, "Yes, my name's Hilta. This is Brildentha, and this wonderful, majestic creature over here, pointing at Lady Pierce, is Lady Pierce. And who might you be?"
It's like, apologies for introducing myself. My name is Keenan. Keenan, because the accent kind of like flicks in a bit.
It's nice to meet you. Well, oh geez, where does one start? Bloody fucking hell. Sorry, excuse my language.
It's like, it's quite all right. I know there's plenty of things happening around here, so please just go at your own pace.
She begins to regale the tale of being captured and taken to the Sacred Stone Monastery, where she was forced to bury. No, sorry, not bury. Forced to dig and excavate soil. It was really weird that there was no precious gems or anything of value in the soil, but that they just had to dig, and that she was saved subsequently. And she lists off some names. She's like Phil, Locke, Dr. Croker, and Guy Pearce. They all they were locked up with us, and they managed to get free, and they got us out, and I hope they got out too. But I mean, I need to talk to Locke and get a message across, and just so I know she's all right.
Mm-hmm. So we don't know if they've returned yet.
I mean, I don't think they had any particular plans to, so they seem to be caught up in a bunch of their stuff. You know what I mean? Like there seemed to be trouble at brewing.
Mm-hmm. Well, considering that your own capture was a part of the story, they're clearly foul play is in order right now, and this is not right at all.
Fucking say, lad.
Mm-hmm. And shocked at this circumstance in itself. I was only here to find out what was happening in the hills, but this is way further than I thought. I would have to report this. Do you have any details I would report further?
Hilda turns to Brildentha and points at Kanan and says with a chuckle, "He's a bright one, isn't he?" And they both sort of chuckle with each other.
Right, because I was a bit slow to the point.
After the harrowing trouble that she's been through, she just doesn't have much patience.
Mm-hmm.
Look, don't be worrying. Lady Pierce, you need to settle in with us. We'll get a cleric in the morning. We'll get the message out. We'll find your guy. Don't worry at all. It's going to be all right. I want to find my Locke, make sure she's all right. And, the other two. We'll make sure Dr. Croker's fine. We'll make sure that Phil be fine. So let's just all have an ale. And she calls over for another round of drinks for everybody. And she's like, don't worry about your room and board. A little bit of money came my way. I'll take care of you all tonight. You'll all stay here on my dime. So, like, let's just all take a breath, wait for this rain to pass over, and then maybe, just maybe, we can get to where we need to go.
Is she
You're not
also
gonna
addressing
tell me-
me as a part of this conversation? Sorry.
We'll go forward first.
Oh no, I was gonna say she's not gonna tell me where that gold came from, is she?
We've got no reason to.
Except that it came from Guy.
Mhm.
She,
Motherfucker.
also,
No, it's fine.
she distributed gold to all the commoners that were with her.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That 300 isn't just in her wallet.
Mhm.
She considered it a very nice donation.
Uh,
Elliot, what were you saying, sorry, buddy?
Was she addressing me as part of like room and board and all that kinds of stuff, or she just specifically just talking to
No, the whole table, so all four of you.
That's quite generous of you. I thank you, but I will have to run off in the night immediately to send word about this circumstance. But I will return soon, and hopefully
She
I'll be able
rolls her
to.
eyes. She rolls her eyes and point and does another hand gesture towards Brildenthar and says, "Oh, this one over here got to run off in the middle of the night. Ugh, spare me from the crap."
I don't understand your meaning.
You do what you have to do, lad. There is a board and room for you here tonight. We'll all settle in. We'll all get this sorted in the morning, all right? For now, I got to rest my feet. I've been traveling all fucking day. So is Brudenthar over here. So is the people who else escaped. Fucking tired. Just need a fucking rest, all right?
where is this cleric?
Are you asking in character?
Yes. All right. Where is this cleric?
I was told there's one in town. I know the chapel he visits in the morning. He wouldn't be there now, so I can't do more than that.
That's fine. I'll go bring him to you, and I'm gonna not. I think I will leave because I'm not okay with just sitting around and waiting.
Okay, so she's like, turns to Bildenthar again, is like, what the hell is bloody up with these people? You think they were put into slave camps or something? Fuck me dead. And you
Just
make your way.
watch your mouth, woman, and just bang.
Like a motherly response kind of thing.
Yeah.
Do whatever you fucking need to. I'll be here. I've got my ale. You've got a room before I revoke it. But we'll find the cleric in the morning, alright?
I
Did she
can't wait
explain
that
why
long.
waiting for this cleric?
Sorry, say that again, Elliot.
Did she explain why they're waiting for a particular cleric at this point?
He only knows that there's a cleric at the chapel,
Mhm.
and the chapel is closed at the moment. There's no cleric there.
Mhm.
Doesn't know any more details other than the fact that the cleric will be at the chapel
Mhm.
in the morning.
Okay.
It's not raining outside, right?
It is blowing a gale, and you got little stinging rain coming in from the side. It's very Forrest Gump Vietnam rain right now.
Okay, dang.
Yeah. Fuck it.
That's-
Fuck her. I'll just say I'm gonna go out and look for this cleric. I'm not gonna ask why. You can sit here and just wait while these family members could be in danger. And if need be, I'll just sleep by the chapel.
Don't
Like,
worry, lass. I know my luck can handle itself. Your guy can handle himself too, by the looks of him. I'm just saying, I don't think that cleric lives in this town, so he might become of the day, so I just think we wait. No
Yeah,
point
well-
rushing off when we can't do anything about it.
My daughter's an idiot, so I'm gonna go.
My daughter's a fool. Full of a took.
I'm not. Yeah, I'll just sleep outside. I'm not gonna take her up. I don't like her attitude.
Rage against the weather. Ah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Elliot, you head off to the firstly, what that thing?
In Imda.
Yeah, and you relay the message what you've heard, and he's like, "That's good, lad. Don't worry, I'll send the message." Wait, he wasn't Scottish before. Don't worry, lad. I'll send out the message tomorrow. Like first thing, first light. We'll get a rider. We'll send it straight out. Get it to Baldur's Gate as soon as we need to. And
I will do my best
Yes.
to find out this in person and hopefully be able to send word on where everything is happening.
so you head out. Will, you head out as well. Can you please give me a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage?
One second. Hmm. You see that, right? That's a natural 20 and a 2, which brings me to 8.
It says 10.
10. Sorry, it's plus 8.
Okay, so you somehow manage to, despite the treacherous weather, not get a level of exhaustion as you sleep out in the blistering rain and heavy winds. And everybody cycle a long rest for me. And the first people up this morning are Phil and Javi. Like, first light, you guys are awake. And the weather seems to have calmed down. Like, it's windy, but it's not treacherous, and there's no more rain.
Is the little girl still with us?
Yes. She's still sleeping, but both of you wake up, and so does Goose Springsteen.
Oh, looks a little better today. Did it always rain like that around here?
Javi just shakes their head to say no.
That's crazy. He starts getting kind of a breakfast prepared for the little girl. He's not even worried about himself. But he does feel a little better, just very achy and sore.
Javi will help prepare food.
Regurgitating.
As a natural explorer, I find twice as much food while foraging. So yeah, just sort of casually walk around the area, pick some berries, and
Sure thing. You manage to find food for everybody. Tabitha stirs awake, feeling a little bit colder now that the warm body of Javi and Goose Springsteen are kind of up and about. She's like, "What's happening?" as she rubs her eye.
Oh, we're just, getting ready for the day. Tabitha, do me a favor if you can and stand up.
and she looks at you weird, and I can stand up, and she pushes herself off the floor, and she stands on all two legs.
I thought you were going to say all four. It's like, whoa.
She's a wolf.
Okay, now check this out. And he'll kind of wave his hands in the air, and he kind of thrusts his palms forward towards her, and kind of a breeze washes over her. And as she does, he casts prestidigitation and kind of cleans off all the dirt and grime. Probably not as good as a bath, but at least it'll help you feel better for the journey.
She feels the wind blow over, and she smiles a little bit. Out of character, though. You didn't think to do this before she slept?
Well, he was pretty drained. I didn't want to draw on any kind of magic because he wouldn't have had much to offer.
I'm playing around, but
Oh, okay.
no, it's
Did
fine.
Harvey see this?
Roll me a d20 on a 12 or higher. You do. You get back in time to see this.
No. It's a 10.
Cool. You get back a little bit later, and she's cleaner, but you don't seem to notice.
Okay.
He looks at the bird. What's your name?
Harvey?
Tabitha? This is Javi. Javi, this is Tabitha.
And Harvey just sort of nods his head toward her, and you can't quite smile with a beak, but he smiles with his eyes.
She looks at you and says, "What's your name?"
Me? Phil.
Oh, hi,
Phil's
Phil.
close, yeah. Hi.
I'm Tabitha.
It's very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Although I'm sorry it wasn't better circumstances, but we'll definitely get you back to your family. Your and Bluebird.
She frowns. She frowns.
Harvey points to the large vulture and just says, "Goose."
No, vulture.
No, Ghost Springsteen.
And the vulture responds. Perks up with its feathers a little bit.
Goose?
Ghost Springsteen.
Goose. Oh, it had a name. It
Harvey sort of points to his chest and says, "Brother."
Wait, have you two met before?
And Harvey just sort of nods hurriedly.
His demeanor changes a little bit, but he's about to say something, and he remembers that the little girl is there, and kind of just holds off. And just it's good to know.
Harvey starts packing up the camp.
He'll help pack as well. He doesn't have much with him. So once we get to this bird town, Tabitha, how do we find your uncle?
He's a cleric. He should be at the chapel.
He kind of gasps a little bit, as if for the first time, a little bit of hope appears in his eyes, and he's like, "I would very much like to meet your uncle cleric."
She smiles and nods.
Please tell me his name is actually Uncle Cleric. I haven't heard a no, so yes, that's good.
Don't give him ideas. Okay, so yeah, we'll get ready to leave and head. Do we know which direction this bird town is? Lark's a bird, right?
Harvey
Or is it
sort
a
of
tree?
perks up and just says, points in the direction. Just says south,
What, that way?
and Harvey just nods.
Okay, Mr. Goose, you see that, right? That's the way we want to fly. So you're the one who's flying, okay?
Lets
Harvey
out an
just,
eagle-like screech, just like ah.
At the I won't play it because I don't want to deafen you guys, but at the sound of Goose letting out his screech, Harvey excitedly lets out his owl screech and starts heading off.
Phil kind of like nudges Tabitha, and he does kind of little a screech his own, like kind of trying to encourage her to join in.
He starts doing little like bird screeches. It's terribly inaccurate, but she's trying so hard, and it's really delightful.
That's really good. You should make a career out of that.
What's a career?
Victoria.
You know what? You shouldn't have to worry about that. Unless you want to make it a hobby. Just do it for fun.
I like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to teach. You have to show your Uncle Cleric your new screech abilities.
I can definitely show Noel that. He'll like.
Sounds like a plan.
And we head off to Redlar.
Flap, 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 flap.
No worries. You guys have started out pretty much at daybreak. It didn't take you long to get to the it didn't take you long to set up camp, cook, and then pack it down again. And let's see. Checking my notes. Cool. Yep. No worries. And you guys actually make some really good time. Like faster than usual with Goose and Avi flying. You guys make it back by mid-morning. And it's at this time that Hilda, Roldenthar, and Kanan all arrive at the chapel to see this guy. To see Lady Pierce sort of huddled up near the chapel doors. Say, you bloody sleep out here all night?
I don't respond to that. I'm just like, let's hurry up and do this.
Just give him the stank eye.
And no, the chapel doors are still locked and still closed.
Do I kick it down?
Fuck off.
You can't ask us a question. You can't you're pretty much lying in front of the doors. Nobody has gone past you to open the doors up, so you would know that.
Yeah. Right, well, I'll try opening it, see if it's locked, and if it is, we'll deal with that when it comes to it.
So you attempt to open the door, and you get the same locked feeling that you did last night when you came to the door and tried to open it.
When is this guy supposed to come? When's he supposed to show up? That's a question I asked the group.
Any moment now. You're a little impatient, aren't you? I'm sure the guy's fine. You put too much worry into this. Honestly.
I just pace back and forth over the path.
She's as strong and brave as my little lock.
She's not strong or brave. She's foolish.
Oh, I can tell you're a great mother.
That's how you get a smack bottom.
If I wasn't afraid I'd kill her, I'd punch her in the face. But
Yeah. Exactly. I was like, oh man, she's gonna get smacked.
no, I ignore it.
Get your ass whooped.
I don't
You
care what
can-
she thinks.
Certainly try.
Nah, it's all good. I don't care what she thinks.
And before the cleric arrives, you hear the flapping of wings. And Phil settles down, and so does Javi, right near the chapel. And you all look at each other.
Is that the cleric? Sorry. I'm doing a freaking accent. I'm gonna have to break that habit now.
Phil, you notice straight away, no roll needed, that Hilta is amongst the group in front of the chapel.
He stares at her, raises a finger, and kind of freezes for a moment, just almost in partial terror.
And she looks at she catches your eye, and she looks straight back at you and is like, "Oh, Phil, what are you doing back here so soon? Where's Locke? Where's Guy?"
I stop pacing, walk up to him.
Oh boy.
My, you're a tall one.
So you're my guy, yeah.
Wait, Guy? Wait. You're not.
No,
Oh, sorry.
no, I'm not.
Sorry.
Where is she?
No, we're here to see Uncle Cleric. We're returning Tabitha here. Yeah.
The little girl like sort of pulls on your robe a little bit. She's about half a foot shorter than you, and she's like, his name is Noel.
He's a knoll, like the creature.
She shakes her head. No, his name is Noel.
Oh, we're here to see Uncle Cleric Knoll. Is he in yet? Have we tried the door? You should try the door.
And this is when the
I love
door's
the camera angle for effect.
I would like to pick Phil up and shove him against the wall. I imagine it won't be too difficult.
Well, he's in the middle of the pathway. There is no immediate adjacent wall that's less than 15 feet away.
This is a
All right,
creative way to
let's-
pick up guys. Yeah.
I think that.
As soon as Phil's feet are off the ground, Harvey takes a defensive stance, sort of leaning forward and spreading his wings behind him and hissing.
Tabitha immediately is really scared of the situation, scared of Lady Pierce, and hides behind Harvey and is like, please, 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 please help. Please help.
I grab the hilt of my sword. I don't draw it. But it's like, no. The children's here. We don't need any of this violence. We're here to just see a person. Just let's all be calm and just talk it out. I'll step towards, like, as in I stepped side towards where the child is, as a precaution only.
Why not bring Tabitha around the back? Maybe there's another door that's open. Yeah, maybe she can find the Uncle Cleric Noel there,
Mhm.
trying to get the child away from the situation because he figures he's about to die.
That seems like to be his thing these days.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like, maybe it's finally now. Maybe it's finally now. Maybe it's finally now. Am I dead yet?
Lady sort of inhales and just goes, and she would like to rage and grapple.
Jesus Christ!
Give me an athletics check, and Phil, you can roll athletics or acrobatic to resist.
Hold on.
Does this count as a strength check, or does it have to be a strength check?
It's a
Specifically.
strength check. It's
So
to grapple is a strength check.
Advantage for the raid.
Well, I actually want to do something a little different.
It's
Well,
not great.
I mean, I'll accept the grapple to start with.
So
won't
there's
contest
no
it.
opposition. You grapple him. No, you grapple Phil with ease. Not a problem.
Just realized the name is actually in brackets. Dummy mommy. Well done. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm just like letting the rage do this speaking here.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna actually like hurt him, but he is being pulled off the ground.
Mhm.
As Harvey sees the grapple take place, his defensive stance. Poor child. His defensive stance changes slightly as he draws two short swords, and all you hear is
Nice, nice.
Okay.
I'd be 100 times more impressed if you managed to make that sound with your voice. But I'm assuming that was recorded.
yes.
Can
I'm
I at least, even though I'm grappled, my speed is 0. Can I at least touch my pocket?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm only holding you by like, so you've got like,
Scruff.
No, that's fine.
yeah,
that's
so you've
fine.
got
So,
arms and legs.
okay, take it easy. And he kind of touches his pocket, and he raises a finger, and he's like, his finger's like moving left, moving left, moving left. That, and then he moves his finger right, and he casts polymorph on her, and he tries to turn her.
So wait. You're casting polymorph on who? Lady Pierce?
Lady Pierce, yeah.
Okay, so I believe it would be a saving throw to resist.
Wisdom saving throw.
Please roll a wisdom saving throw before we determine the outcome.
Oh boy. Boy.
Mm-hmm. God damn it.
Please.
It's an
I
8.
can't be charmed or frightened.
This is neither of those effects.
Can, however, be turned into a beautiful butterfly.
Mhm.
So Phil, what have you turned Lady Pierce into?
Looking in the various alternate timelines, he found an animal form of her, which just happened to be a snow owl. So he picked that, and thematic with the other birds here, he polymorphs her into a snow owl.
Just as you do that, she's like, "Where is she?" And then
Do you realize that if she eventually gets out, that she gonna rage for keeps now?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you done fucked up, hey, Ron.
I get the stats of that, right?
Yeah, you do.
You should, yeah.
Now,
Like I become real dumb.
there's still a chance to save them. That's why I'm here to get help. He
Whee!
kind of blurts.
This is the closest thing I can find to.
Bird.
No, it's perfect.
You have a
there we
wisdom of 12, but an intelligence of 2.
Who?
A
Why
strength
is
of
that
3.
nuts?
Harvey stands down.
But yeah, he's like, well, that's why I want to see Uncle Cleric, Kobold, because there's still a chance to help them if we're fast enough. So
By the way,
please don't kill me.
Phil, can you give me an acrobatic
Oh yeah,
check,
yeah.
please?
Acrobatics. Okay,
Yeah, you would have dropped.
Yeah. From a great height.
that's an 11.
11's enough to just land on your feet. You stumble a little bit, but you're stable just.
Good.
Every day you're stumbling.
And this bird is waving its wings maniacally, like, and doing the smallest little screeches.
Up we go. Yeah, but the Okorkra here knows what the bird's saying. All these expressions.
All the expletives.
What does Lady Pierce say, huh?
Oh darn.
Are you on mute? Oh, he is on mute. It's not coming through.
I'd said it. She's probably not saying a lot because she's got an intelligence of 2 as an owl.
Now, does your intelligence carry over in those forms, or? Because I know, actually,
Did it probably say on the spell?
the target assumes the hit points of the new form. The target's game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast. But it retained its alignment and personality.
So you're just a very angry owl.
So the owl tries to lift him again. So he's just getting beaten in the face with feathers.
But before
I
anyone
continue
else
to
tries to grab him, he's blurting out, that he's here seeking help because of they need help.
It's at this moment, after Lady Pierce has been turned into an owl, a holy figure, walks up from down the path, and he's like, "Well, what's going on here?" And he spots Tabitha. It's like, Tabitha! And they run up to each other, and she hugs her, and she hugs him back. He hugs her, sorry. And she's like, "Uncle, no!"
Unky no. Nothing like a wholesome
Harvey
moment
just
of
chuckles at hearing this screech.
And he turns to everybody. He's like, as he puts her down beside her, and he's like, what is everybody doing here at my chapel? How can I help? How can I be of service?"
Seeing that the fight has been kind of diffused, I just look back at Hilta because I know that she was the one waiting for this cleric.
Hilta looks over at Noel. He's like, "Oh, about time you bloody showed up. You took fucking forever." And he looks a little taken back by that.
Language.
and he's like, "Sorry, what is it that I can do for you?" And she's like, "Oh, here," and she rummages through her satchel, and she's like, I've got a lock of hair," and Phil, you recognize this lock of hair straight away, and she's like, "Oh, I need to contact my daughter. I mean, she's missing or lost," and she points to the bird flapping around the snow owl. She's like, "Oh, and she needs to find her daughter." It's a complicated story. I just need you to, divinate whatever the fuck you do to just make sure she's alright.
Fuck Hilda.
Phil goes
It's not
pale.
complicated at all.
Phil goes
Just a
super pale.
Give me a deception check, please.
Oh, that's easy. 24.
Jeez.
Yeah, she doesn't notice you're completely obfuscated to her visual presence.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.